bro. How are you?
What a disgrace. I mean, let's start with this. I mean, you know what, Coach? Okay, and you know I like the guy. But you know what? This guy should be cut now. The message that should be sent is, see you, Zach, you're out of here. And did I hear he's dressing all three quarterbacks?
Yes.
In this game?
Yeah.
Now, Boyle's starting, which he should be, but what are you dressing him for? What? So the fans can destroy him if you put him in the game? Of course, there'll be half Dolphin fans there, but still. You know what, Coach? You're going down with this guy. Let's be honest about it. You are going down with this brutal freaking quarterback. There's no other way to say it.
But, Joe, it almost felt like, and it was only one question, but he was asked about the conversation between him and Joe Douglas about the direction of with Zach. And it sounded like that they didn't agree on it. Yeah. Which kind of talks back to what we were saying a couple of weeks ago when Robert Saleh was asked, why are you not benching Zach? And he said, we, meaning collectively, not just him, we're making a decision on it. So it sounds like him and Joe Douglas might not agree on Zach Wilson.
Well, look, I agree with you. I mean, I think Douglas has tried to force feed this second pick in the draft, and he has killed the franchise by doing it. Look, as soon as Rodgers went down in the first game of the year, you had to immediately find a legitimate backup quarterback. Let's be honest about it. You couldn't go into the year again with Zach Wilson. You just couldn't do it. And they got away with it for a little while. Let's be honest, they got away with it for a little while. You know, they had a couple nice wins. They beat Denver. All of a sudden, Denver's won 4 games in a row. They beat Denver. You know, they beat the Eagles somehow, some way. Obviously, the Giants handed them the game. And since then, he's been a disaster. He's a disaster. I can't take it anymore. I can't take watching this crap anymore. And he should have went to Boyle 2 games ago.
No, that's the problem.
2 games ago. Not now, 2 games ago.
Joe, you nailed it about this head coach. And I don't think he's going to get fired at the end of the year because Aaron Rodgers probably wants him here next year. But his legacy
And by the way, I don't want Nathaniel Hackett as the coach. I can tell you that.
No, I get you. His legacy is the quarterbacks and how he handled Mike White, how he handled Zach Wilson, and the way he talks to us like we're idiots. Zach Wilson wasn't a failure as quarterback of the New York Jets?
He's beyond a failure. He's terrible. He's one of the worst second picks in the draft of all time. Can we say that?
No, I agree.
If we start breaking down second picks in the draft, he's got to be, in the top 10% of the worst.
And I think
he's debate on it.
And I think based on how long they stuck with him and how bad they were record-wise through the 32 or 33 games he played, I think he's arguably the worst quarterback that was drafted with hope in the history of this franchise.
Could be. Well, Christian Hackenberg is pretty bad.
He didn't play, though.
Yeah, he didn't play. He didn't get an opportunity.
He didn't even get on the field. But look, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I mean, it's hard for me to dispute that. Especially, let me put it this way. Of the first-round draft choices that the Jets have had in their history, to me, it's not even debatable that this kid is talking about quarterbacks. He's the worst. Well, it's not even close.
I agree with you. And I started the show like this with Tiki, where I get it. They pulled him for Tim Boyle. I got no problem with it. But think about when they did it. They do it in a game where they're losing 29-6, so the game is pretty much over. They could have done it earlier in the game, specifically halftime, and they could have done it weeks ago. Why do you think this coach waited so freaking long to finally do what we all knew, which was get the quarterback out of there?
I think Tiki hit it. I think Douglas was putting pressure on him to keep the kid out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would have done this a while ago. I think Douglas was putting pressure on him to keep the kid out there. And let me say one thing about, he should have put him in to start the second half. But remember, by the time they got the ball to start the second half, they were down 22-6. And I'm not going to kill the defense here because I think the defense, it finally broke, Yeah. It finally broke.
Yeah.
But Sauce Gardner, it's a 16-6 game. Now, I didn't think they were ever winning a game, but it's 16-6. You're looking at probably a 3rd down and 4 if he just tackles Stephon Diggs where he is. That body slam was the killer play of the game.
Yeah.
Killer.
That killed the game. That was it.
Sauce had, I think, his worst game as a Jet between the penalty, going for the interception that he failed on, which turned into a big play by Shakur. I think overall, and we have a high bar for Sauce, so I get it. Worst game we've seen from him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's afforded those. You don't want it in that situation, but he did have a bad game. The body slam was one. That's emotion, Joe. You can feel it, right? It's frustration. You can't express yourself the right way, so you do it the wrong way on the field, and it costs you a penalty. But you're right, it turned the game. But also on the Shakur touchdown, I mean, not only did he get beat, he didn't get back to make the tackle.
No,
and bumped his own guy off of the tackle, and led to the touchdown.
Well, one thing, Teak, I think, and Ev, I think that's happening with the defense. They're trying to do too much now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, there was a play with Diggs. They probably had Diggs for maybe a couple-yard gain on a pass. And Mosley, instead of making a tackle, is trying to knock the ball out. You know? He's trying to tomahawk the ball out because, you know, the defense is saying, man, if we don't do something here, if we don't get the ball, we don't score, we're dead.
That's the problem with the lack of belief in your offense is that defensively you try to score, right? You try to do things that you're not – it's just not in your DNA to do, to go – naturally score points, and they're trying to do that, and it comes back to haunt them. What do you think because we don't really know anything about Tim Boyle. Nobody saw him play at Kentucky or Connecticut. Nobody saw him play at Eastern Kentucky. I guess he threw a couple of passes in his 3 or 4 years in the league.
He's got 3 toucdon't and yesterday was like his 8th interception.
Yeah, so it's not like he doesn't have a big book.
Right.
What's going to happen here? I don't even know what the reception's going to be.
Well, here's what I would say, Teak. I'm watching. I will say this. With the little that we saw him yesterday, he did look like he had an idea what he was doing. I mean, he made one pass that there's no way Zach would ever make. The blitzer was right in his face. Right in his face, and he got rid of the ball to Wilson for about a 9-yard gain.
Yeah, he just stood there, and he knew he was going to get hit. Just stood there and did it.
Wilson would never do it. Zach would have either crumbled or just threw the ball into the ground. That's what he would have done, okay? So that showed me something there. It does look like he's putting the ball where it needs to go. He gets rid of the ball relatively quick. But I'll say this. I'm watching all these quarterbacks that I've never heard of. Tommy DeVito, how about him yesterday? How about the kid in Cleveland yesterday?
Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Right. Even the kid with the Raiders, okay? I mean, these guys, who are they? These guys aren't super. Even Josh Dobbs, who's really taking the world by storm. Who were these guys at the beginning of the year? So I don't know. I don't want to see Trevor Siemian. I know he stinks. I know what he is, especially behind this offensive line, which is in shambles now. But whatever. So let me say, maybe the kid's got something. He can't be worse, Teak. He can't be worse.
And that's it. Look, Joe, you hit on it. This is why I know nothing about Tim Boyle other than what you just laid out, Tiki, what Joe mentioned. Basic stuff about this guy. Here's what I know. Their third down rate this season is historically bad. Their inefficiency in the red zone is historically bad. They don't score touchdowns. So how could it be worse?
Yeah.
It can't be worse, Joe.
You know what? So let's be honest about this, too, as we watch this team now on a regular basis. They don't have any weapons. They got 2 guys. They got Garrett Wilson. They double-team him.
Yeah.
And they got Breece Hall. I'd like to see Izzy play a little bit. I mean, I thought I was going to see more than I did
They didn't use him until garbage time.
Right, it was garbage time. But you look at, where are the weapons on this team? Every guy they brought in, and I pray this is not Boyle, because we don't know about him yet. Every guy they brought in, Lazard, from this, that Aaron Rodgers wanted.
Yes.
Lazard, Cook, McCole Hardman, Randall Cobb, he can't even get on the field. All these guys, and the offensive coordinator, let's not forget him. All these guys they brought in have been a disaster.
But here's the only saving grace on all this, because Alan Lazard has been the definition of a bust.
Oh, my God.
We brought them in under the belief that Aaron Rodgers was going to succeed with them. Mm-hmm. So as bad as Alan Lazard has been, as bad as Nate Hackett's been, as bad as everybody's been, there's no denying that. I need to see it with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. No,
that's the ultimate.
And I'm going to tell you this, and you may think I'm out of my mind. Maybe I'm the only guy that thinks this.
Uh-oh.
No matter where we are, in what we are, if Rodgers is ready to come back, I want to see him now.
No matter what.
I don't forget next year, Teak.
Yeah.
Forget next year, Ev. I want to see him now.
Yeah,
let him play the last 3 games of the season. Let's go. The bottom line is we're going to draft the quarterback anyway. The way we're going, we may wind up with Caleb Williams and a kid from North Carolina.
Everybody's talking about the Giants, Joe. You guys are the Jets are only a game behind or ahead of them.
Is Tommy DeVito better than Zach Wilson?
Yes.
He looks like it to me.
At least he tries to throw the ball.
Well, here's the thing about Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito already did something in that game against Washington, and Zach Wilson's never done.
Never done.
In his career.
And Tommy
He's also not been sacked 9 times. How about that?
too. But that's almost impressive. He took 9 sacks and still went out there and played well.
No question.
Tommy DeVito has already contributed to more touchdowns this season than Zach Wilson has.
I tell you one thing I want to see this week against the Dolphins, okay? I want to see effort. I want to see this. Now, you hit to me, this was rock bottom yesterday. They hit the bottom of the barrel yesterday. I want to see this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, okay? I'll give them a pass for that disaster yesterday. I want to see this defense come out and beyond with the effort on Friday. I really do. You hit rock bottom. You stunk it up. Let me see this D go out there and play their rear ends off. And I'll tell you this, too. How about this, too? We didn't even touch about this. First play of the game, I'm barely my rear end is barely hit the seat, right? Barely. And this kid Gibson puts the ball on the ground. I'm done with him too. What's that about his 3rd fumble so far this year?
I think it's more than that, Joe.
Yeah.
I think it's either 4 or 5. I think he had 3 going into this one.
I didn't experience it, but sitting next to you for all these years and knowing Jet history, was there a reminder to Shea Stadium against the Bills in '81?
Well, there's a slight difference there. That was actually a playoff game.
No, but you know what? Yesterday sort of was.
You kind of.
If this team making the playoffs, they needed to win yesterday.
By the way, every time I see Bruce Harper, I remind him of that. and there's something I can't say it on the air. Something when I see you guys, I'll tell you off the air. Something that Walt Michaels always told him about that, which is quite interesting, but I can't say it on the air. It's family program.
I'll tell you even though the defense,
get the drift, Joe.
Even though the defense did their job after that, Quinnen Williams with the big sack. You kind of knew this game's over. Like 3 points.
9-0, they were dead. 9-0 it could have been 30-0.
Yes.
That's exactly what Evan said. Joe, let's get to the press conference. I know you were on. You were listening to it.
Yeah. Yep.
What'd you make of the demeanor of Robert Saleh? Right? It didn't feel. I don't know. It felt kind of resigned.
Didn't feel like he's depressed enough. Is that the right word?
No, it just when you. I don't know. I think in moments like that, you got to show strength, even if it's a facade, right? You got to show some vocal
right. I know what you mean.
Control. I don't know. It felt like he was despondent, right? It didn't sound.
I think he's beaten down.
Yeah,
I got to tell you that.
Maybe that is what it is.
I think he's beaten down. I mean, you look at him on the sideline. He's saying, "Oh, what can I do? I can't even blame the officials for this game. We even got another roughing the pass out there. We got 2 now. Let me mark him down. But I mean, I really do think. I think he's so beaten down. I think he keeps saying in his mind because he's kind of alluded this to me a little bit.
Yeah.
If I could only coach with a real quarterback. I'm serious. I think there's something because he never has. I mean, let's be real. He's never really had a quarterback.
Yeah, but what's so infuriating is I don't know if Tim Boyle's a real quarterback. We'll find out. But all this team needed, maybe not as much yesterday, was just halfway competence, and they would have won a couple of games. Like, they didn't need as much. To win a Super Bowl, yes, they needed Aaron Rodgers.
Of course.
But to be in a playoff race, all they needed was competent quarterback play.
But you know what, though, Joe Douglas didn't pull the trigger when he should have. When Rodgers went down right then and there, they had to do something. And it couldn't just be Zach Wilson.
Yeah, there were a lot of options out there that you could. Look, you don't have to wait to the trade deadline to make a trade in the NFL. You don't have to.
No, I agree.
As soon as Rodgers got hurt, he should have been on the phone. Who can we get?
But the other answer Saleh gave today, which annoys me, was, hey, did you ever think about moving on and getting a real backup for Aaron Rodgers? I forget who asked it. And Saleh's answer of, well, we thought it would be good for Zach to sit and watch for a year. Well, have him sit and watch for the year as the 3rd quarterback because your backup could play, and in this NFL, will play. You can't treat it that way if you're the Jets.
Yeah, but you know what? I said this when they got Rodgers, that their thinking was not just bringing Rodgers here to win now, but maybe Rodgers could help develop Zach.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
But why can't Joe he have helped develop Zach while Zach wasn't the backup but a 3rd stringer, and you had a real backup, I say his name, Mike Bleepin White, who, if something had happened, he could have played as opposed to Zach.
Let's be honest, okay? And this goes back to last year when they started Flacco over Zach when he was hurt, and Flacco started over White. They knew White was better. And the bottom line comes down to this, and this to me is completely Joe Douglas. This is him. You knew White was better. We all knew White was better. The team knew White was better. They're running around with Mike. We love Mike White, Mike effing White T-shirts, whatever they were. The team knew Mike White was better, but Douglas had to justify the second pick in the draft, and it has come back, and it's been like a stick up his rear end, let's be honest about it. And not just a stick up Joe Douglas's rear end, every damn Jet fan's rear end. Every one of us. And I am so sick and tired. Bro, I'm so tired of losing and watching. You know, I got another word for it, what we saw yesterday. How many times have we got to see this crap over the years? Over and over and over again.
When the Jets have allowed a coach to come back for a fourth season, none of them, for the most part, have had a record as bad as Robert Saleh. Even the great Todd Bowles at least had the one winning season.
What is he, 4-14 since the 7-4 last year,
4-14 overall. He's 15-29 as head coach of this team.
Right.
Should he even be back next year?
You know what?
I think he has to.
Yeah.
Joe? Joe? I think he has to because of what you were just talking about, Evan, before Joe came on, the Aaron Rodgers experiment that's still existing.
So would you keep
him? To start it all over again is hard to do.
Here's what I would say, Evan. I know people are going to say, "Wow, you know, you're friends with him." And all. No. Now, here's the bottom line: we've had 8 coaches since Parcells, just since Parcells. Okay, since Parcells left in 1999, 8 coaches. So that's like every 3 years we got a new coach. I'm going to give him one more year. He gets one more year with Rodgers. One more. If they don't make the playoffs, he's done. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah.
Right, Teak?
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah.
And even if Rodgers goes down, even if something happens with Rodgers, because you better have a real backup quarterback next year. Even if you draft a quarterback, which I think they will, you still got to have a real backup quarterback next year. You got to find somebody. I don't know who.
Well, Joe, I think it goes not just to Joe Douglas. I mean, to Robert Saleh. It also goes up to Joe Douglas.
Of course.
Right? I mean, eventually you have to have success. You can't just keep running the same. And then, by the way, it's not like it's the same plan. You know, at least when you look at the Giants right now after 2 seasons with Joe Shane and Brian Dable, it feels like, all right, this plan is still moving in a direction. Like, we're just building the foundation. Maybe people had overinflated expectations based off last year, but I feel like their plan is still on track, right, from a year ago. The Jets, it's like a different plan every year. It's something new. It's like, all right, we're going to do this year. We're going to try this. All right, you know what? We can get Aaron Rodgers. Let's try that. All right, what happens next year if Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, is either ineffective or gets hurt again? You have no plan. You got to have some sort of plan.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, let's be honest. Even if he's 100% next year, Teak,
and
he plays well, he's 40 years old.
That's right.
I mean, it's so that young quarterback has got to be found.
No, you're right. We take that for granted too, Joe, because everybody sees Tom Brady and they say, "Oh, these guys can play till they're 45 now." You can't.
No,
it's football. It's physical. Tom is a unicorn. Right. He's like one of one that could do this at a high level.
Blanda was playing at 46, but he wasn't playing quarterback all the time.
By the way, it's a different era.
No, it
right?
is.
And so,
totally
like, the
athleticism
is just different.
Right. No, you're right.
Right? You see these defensive ends. Yeah. Look at. I did the Rams last weekend, Joe.
Yes.
And so
we did the Rams Seattle game.
Yeah, Seattle. So
we were in and out of the game on the red zone.
Red zone. So Aaron Donald's in that game, Hall of Famer, great player.
Yeah, one of the best.
There was a play where he dodged the lineman left. The play was going to his right. He caught the damn running back running to the sideline. This is a D tackle.
Right.
This is athleticism. It's stupid, the athleticism and the
he's
size.
I mean, Aaron Donald's a first ballot.
Right. I know that, but I'm just saying that's typical of what athletic defensive linemen are. So, in the 70s, 60s, you can play till you're 40. Because the physicality's not the same.
The athleticism.
In today's football, the athleticism is off the chain. And so when you're 30-something, mid-30s and 40, you're at a marked disadvantage.
Yeah. No, look, it's a great point. There's no doubt. But, look, no matter what the deal is with Rodgers, and like I said, if he's ready to play this year, I want to see him, even if they haven't won another game to that point. Okay,
You're not afraid of the injury risk, even if the games don't mean anything?
You know what? I want to see real quarterback play, bro. I do. I got to tell you, I want to see this guy. I just don't want him coming back cold next year. Who knows what's going to happen next year, right? You don't know. What if he goes down again? Look, that would be very Jet-like, I'll tell you that.
Well, if he goes down again, at least this season, we would know. Let's move the hell on.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, that might be the best thing to find out. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, know if he can do it.
Yeah. I want to see him play this year. I really do. Maybe I'm by myself. I know everybody says, no, if they're out of it. No.
I think
I want to see him.
I think the way I view it is if there's a mathematical chance, because sometimes you don't know. You could be sitting there at 4-7 and say, well, if you win your last 6, you make the playoffs. I don't know if 10 wins get you in. It's 50-50. I have no idea.
Right.
Depends on where a lot of ways fall. If there's a chance, I'd want him back. If I know we're out of it, I'd hesitate to bring him back because there's just so much risk attached to it.
I guess so. I just want to see him because who knows? Maybe I'll never see him. You know.
Well,
I think about
look,
that too.
Joe. I got to be honest with you. A part of why, because I think Rodgers aside, Robert Saleh, just based on wins and losses and based on the talent on this roster, he deserves to lose his job. Just based on every other coach that we've seen.
I can't disagree with
that. But my hesitation is Aaron Rodgers came here when he was recruited by Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and Nate Hackett. And if you fire guys, there's a decent chance Aaron Rodgers is going to pull what some of my other mercenaries pulled, which is, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, right.
And it would kill me to not at least see this through and see what it's like with Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking this team. And that's why I'd keep all these guys around for one more year. But I'm with you. If it fails next year, blow it up.
That's it. It's all over after next year if it fails. And the other thing, too, is, look, if you let him go, he'd probably say, okay, Hackett's the coach. And who the hell wants that? I don't. Maybe Sean Payton was right. Can we have a little imagination on offense? Can we have a little? I couldn't believe this. I have been screaming, and of course it didn't work, but I have been screaming for the quarterback draw all year. Mm-hmm. They finally do it.
They do.
Yeah. And he gets stopped.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Where's your confidence level for Friday afternoon against the Dolphins?
My confidence. I got none. What confidence?
No, I got none either, I'm telling you.
But I do want to see this defense. Look, you hit rock bottom yesterday. You stunk it up. I get it. I'll give you the pass there. I got to see this defense come out and play football. And I got to tell you this, too. I want to see this kid Boyle. Let him play. What's the difference now? Right, Teak?
Yeah.
Let him play. Yeah. I don't want to see Brees Hall on first down for a yard, Brees Hall on second down for 2, now with 3rd and 8, with 3rd and 7. Oh, okay. No. I want to see the kid.
You know what I want to see, Joe? I want to see him execute. Because I know that it's easy to blame Nate. It's easy to throw the coordinator into the fire right now. But I showed Evan this. I showed Sean this before the show. There are just plays that Zach won't or can't or doesn't know to make.
It's true.
Right? There was a rail route, second play of the game, that Rucker's running down the sideline. There's nobody within 10 yards. He throws the check down. And it's every week, right? It's every single week. There's 1 or 8 plays like that are big plays to be made, and Zach just doesn't make them. So I know it's on Nate as well, just like it's on the offensive line and Saleh and everybody else. But all I want to see, Joe, is execution. Run the play like it's supposed to be run. Mm-hmm. And Zach just wasn't doing that.
No, well, that's, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, would you have cut Zach? Would you have just gotten rid of him now?
I would have. I would have. I would have, Joe, because he's not going to be here next year.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? And honestly, I was saying that you should probably do this before the season because it never made sense. If Aaron Rodgers was going to lead you to wherever he was going to lead you, and he was talking about playing for multiple years, it never made timing sense for Zach Wilson to be anything. And why would Zach, after 2 years of playing, really being, he had a bad path with the coaching staff and everything his first couple of years. Why would he want to stay here, right, on a minimum deal?
Right.
He obviously would want to go someplace else and try and get a fresh start. So it never made sense to me. And at this point, you cut bait. It's a ruthless business. We know it is. I don't understand the need to be nice to a kid because you like him.
Why is he dressing?
Yeah, I was going to say, why?
I don't know. You don't need to be nice. Like, being nice doesn't do anything for you. Maybe it makes you feel good. Oh, I feel bad for the kid. Oh, this sucks for him. Oh, man, this is bad. Who cares? Right. You know how many nice kids I played with that just never made it?
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was and for them, it wasn't even that they stunk. It was just numbers games.
Right.
And they just never got a chance.
Right.
And so I don't like the kids' gloves.
They've already been nice enough to him. They've allowed him to start 32 games.
But they're kid gloving him, and I don't like that because that's not what wins in the league. Being nice doesn't win you anything in the NFL. Period.
Well, hopefully we don't see him again all year. I mean, I just do not want to see him all year. I don't want to see him again.
Yeah, we're done
with this team.
We're done.
I'm By the way, if you're not going to the game Friday.
I am going Friday.
You're going.
Bro, it's the perfect game to take.
Because I'm going too. Who you going with?
I'm taking Jet. I'm taking Jet to his one Jet game a year. Last year I took him to Jaguars Jets on a Thursday night.
That was great. I'll give it, at least the weather's supposed to be decent. You should give me a call.
You got it,
man. I'm going to be there early, man.
Awesome.
I'm going to be there 11:30 or so.
Oh, nice. I will definitely give you a call and meet up while we're there, and hopefully we get to show the kid a win.
Good.
Show us a win.
Well, I want to see the effort. Like I said, I want to, coming off what we saw yesterday, I want maximum effort.
You know what I want?
You're going 4-hour tailgate?
Yeah, something like that.
What's wrong with that?
No, but Teak, you know how many people I got to go see? Like I can
imagine.
Tailgates.
Yeah.
Eddie, Fireman Ed wants me to go. The Winters brothers want me to go.
Yeah.
My buddy Joey Jett wants me. I mean, these guys. I mean,
dude, you're bar hopping. You're bar hopping in the parking lot.
And here's the best part, Teak. I can't even drink. I can't even have a drink. It's unbelievable. The pain,
bro.
I'll be there though.
I will see you Friday, man.
Paul. Give me a call.
You got it, bro. Thank you.
Guys.
Talk to you soon.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Joe.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, man. See you.
Great Joe Beningo here in his weekly spot after we heard from Robert Saleh, who made it official. Tim Boyle's the quarterback. It sounded like Trevor Siemian is the backup.
Yes.
But Zach's going to dress 2, so they're going to dress 3 quarterbacks on Friday.